So we are back. It's time to continue your MLB The Show 16 franchise mode with the Blue Jays, and we just went through the preseason, made a great spring training, and Marcus Stroman, a great ERA, 2.27 is incredible. Anyway, we're moving on to the regular season, and I'm going to do a team overview for 2000, let's see what year this is. I can't even remember what year this is. 2019 team overview. So the MLB, it's changed ever since 2016. A few years ago, we had the Kansas City Royals, one of the best teams in the league, but now they've kind of dropped, and now it's just kind of a slump. So let's go through this team overview, look at some of the rosters, see how the rotations are put together in the league. So anyway, our team overview, let's go straight to starting pitcher. So at starting pitcher, we have our ace, Mad Bum, 96 overall, 29 years old. We have Marcus Stroman, 89 overall, 27 years old. Drew Smyly, 83 overall. We have Hutch, 80 overall. Tyler Villiers, 78. And Eric Hayes, 76. Plus, we have Lamont Sorensen, one of our top prospects, at a 72 and 26 years old. Plus, we have a few other great pitchers in the minors. And one of our studs, Peter Johnson, 64 overall, 22 years old. Gonna be a great pitcher in a few years. Now into relief, so Pedro Baez, 85 overall, 31 years old. Fernando Salas, who was an All-Star last year, 83 overall, 33 years old. Neftali Feliz, 78 overall. JPL, 78 overall. Aaron Loup, still in the organization, 77 overall. Plus we have Julio Alvarez, 73. And a few other guys in the bottom. Let's go to closing pitchers. We still have the young closer, Roberto Osuna, 89 overall, 24 years old. Still as better than ever. Then we have Charles Finney, 78 overall, 24 years old. That's about it. Now on to catcher. We do not have Russell Martin, but we do have Austin Barnes, 78 overall, 29 years old. We brought back JPR and CBS, 75 overall. Anything else? That's about it. First base now, we have Lucas Duda. Our Edwin Encarnacion just retired last year, but Lucas Duda, 80 overall, 33, a great underrated pitcher. He had over 100 RBI last year. He tied Edwin with 114, but great player, very underrated. Now we move on to second base. We do have the 89 overall, 28-year-old Will Myers, who we did acquire a few years back. And now you're the franchise player, I'd say so myself. 62 overall, 18-year-old Alexi Morales, who we did select in the second round last year in the draft. A great player. Can't wait from the debut as a Blue Jay in a few years. But now on to third base, we still have the AL MVP, Josh Johnson, a few years back. 99 overall, 33 years old. He's still our best player on the team. Plus, we have Manuel Vizcaino, 76 overall, 21 years old, and a few other players down there. Now in the shortstop, we still have Troy Tulowitzki, 94 overall, 34 years old. He was great last year at over 90 RBI, and he's still better than ever. Plus, we have the young DH Steve Castro, 79 overall, 24 years old, great contact, great speed. He's a great player to have on your team. Now into left field, we do have the newly acquired Joc Pederson, 91 overall, 26 years old. He was 90 overall when he acquired him. We did acquire him as a center fielder at 83 overall. And convert him to left field because we had a spot in left field after Gerard Dyson left. And now he's 91 overall. So it's the magic of MLB. Some players play great in positions, and our man Joc Pederson plays very well in left field opposed to center field. Now in the center field, we do have the young player, 82 overall, Byron Buxton, 25 years old, 8 potential to be great in a few years. Now on our right field, now we have Yoenis Cespedes, 89 overall, 33 years old, B potential. We just signed him in the offseason. He'd be a great power hitter for us for this next upcoming season. And now, it's basically it for our team overview. Let's go quickly reviews just the rest of the league. So, let's go through this. Chris Sale, 95 overall for the White Sox. There's a roster for them. Let's quickly go down this. Now on to the Indians, we have Francisco Lindor, 94 overall, 25 years old. Michael Brantley, 93 overall. The Indians are actually a great team so far in this franchise mode. They're very competitive. They haven't won the World Series yet, but I can see them winning it in the upcoming years. And now on to the Detroit Tigers. So in Miguel Cabrera, he might be retiring in a few years. 94 overall, 35 years old. They have Justin Upton, and they have Jordan Zimmerman. The rest of the team, they're pretty good. They're okay. Let's move on to the next team. That's Kansas City. Now they have the 97 overall Jake Arrieta, who was signed a few years back. Actually, 2 years back. They still have Wade Davis, John Lester, Alex Gordon. Basically, the majority of their team left. Like, Lorenzo Cain went to the Cubs. Gerard Dyson did go to the Blue Jays. We let him go. Now he's in the Mariners. And Mike Moustakas left in the free agency to, I believe, the Rockies. I don't know. And that's basically about it. Oh yeah, and plus our man Eric Hosmer went to the Giants too. So basically their entire roster that was good, they kind of left. So it's not really that good over there in Kansas City right now. But now on to the Twins. They have 89 overall Brian Dozier. They do have Kevin Pillar. We did trade to them. He's doing well over there in Minnesota. But the thing is, we got Byron Bucks for him, so it's basically future over talent now, basically. Now let's move on to the Angels, who just won the World Series, in fact. 99 overall Mike Trout, 99 overall Paul Goldschmidt, who they did sign in the offseason or at least this offseason. Andrew Heaney did well, Tyler Skaggs, and they did have, I believe, Adrian Gonzalez, who did win a World Series title with them last year. Same with the Blue Jays 2 years back. But now we're moving on to the Athletics. Athletics, not too good at all. They do have Sonny Gray, they have Sean Doolittle. That's basically about it. They're not really that exciting this year. But let's move on to the Mariners. 97 overall, Felix Hernandez, doing great as ever. They have Taijuan Walker still. And they have Devon Travis, who I think he won Gold Glove last year at second base. I don't know. But anyway, let's move on to the Texas Rangers. So Dallas Keuchel, 93 overall. This time in the offseason, they have Ender and Suerte, 93 overall. Rugen Odor, 88 overall. Joey Gallo, 85 overall, 25 years old. Still a good team. And now we are moving on to the Astros. 93 overall, 24-year-old Carlos Correa, doing really good. They still have Jose Altuve, Carlos Gomez, George Springer, Lance McCullers. It's a great team overall. Now let's move on to the Atlanta Braves. Freddie Freeman's still on the team, 90 overall. And did they have Mike Moustakas? I thought Mike Moustakas was on the Rockies, but I guess he's on the Atlanta Braves. Anything else? That's about it. So now let's move on to the Miami Marlins. They do have Giancarlo Stanton, 95 overall, great home run hitter. They have Tom Frazier now after the trade in the offseason, and that's basically about it. Now moving on to the Washington Nationals, Max Scherzer, 98 overall. He's great. Steven Strasburg, 94 overall. They just have a great team overall over there in Washington, but they did lose one key piece in that offense. That's Bryce Harper. He left in free agency to, I can't remember. It might be either the Rockies or, I don't know. I gotta check this out. But let's move on to the Mets. They have Jacob deGrom, 91 overall. Noah Syndergaard, 90 overall. And they did lose Matt Harvey in the free agency to another team, which kind of sucks. Let's move on to the Phillies. So the Phillies, they have Shelby Miller, 89 overall. Salvador Perez, 88 overall. They did sign a few years back. Aaron Nola, they're a decent team, but they're not really competitive at all in the MLB. Let's move on to the Cubs, who are just amazing. 97 overall. Anthony Rizzo, 29 years old. He's won 3 NL MVPs ever since we started this franchise mode. So he's great over there in Chicago. Plus, they still have most of their team intact. Plus, they do have Lorenzo Cain, which helps out the speed option. Let's move on to the Cincinnati Reds, who still have Joey Votto, 95 overall, 35 years old. He's getting up there in age, but he might retire next year. So most of their offense will be gone next year. Moving on to the the Milwaukee Brewers, that's what it is. 91 overall, Ryan Braun, still 35 years old. He's doing okay, but their team not really looking good on the talent side. Now moving on to the Pittsburgh Pirates, they still have Andrew McCutchen, Garrett Cole, Gregory Polanco, and still have most of their team intact from a few years back. It's still Francisco Liriano too, which is pretty weird. But let's move on to, it looks like the St. Louis Cardinals, who have Jose Fernandez, just signed in the free agency from the Marlins, 97 overall, 26 years old, and that's basically about it when it comes to their team. Now moving on to the Diamondbacks, I forgot where Bryce Harper went, but he did go to the Arizona Diamondbacks, 98 overall, 26 years old, just left to them. Now they still have Zach Greinke, 96 overall, 35 years old, Maikel Franco, 89 overall, Yasiel Puig. They have a great team over there in Arizona, kind of underrated. I think they might do well this season just under Bryce Harper. Now let's move on to the Rockies, who did sign big free agent Matt Harvey, 94 overall, 30 years old, straight out of New York. They have they still have Nolan Arenado, 90 overall, 27 years old, and Corey Kluber. So they still have a great team over there in Colorado. But let's move on to one of the better teams in MLB. They still is the LA Dodgers. Clayton Kershaw, 99 overall. They have Kenley Johnson, Corey Seager, 91 overall, DJ LeMahieu. Still a great team over there in Los Angeles. Let's move on to another team who's not the great San Diego Padres. 89 overall. Cole Hamels, the best player. They signed him over there in the free agency, but other than that, they don't have that good of a team. They have Sam Bruno, 8 potential, but that's basically about it when it comes to talent. So let's move on to San Francisco Giants. So they do have Buster Posey, 97 overall, Johnny Cueto, 91 overall, Eric Hosmer, 90 overall. Still a great team over there in San Francisco, but they did win, or they didn't win. They went to the World Series last year, but they lost to, I believe, the LA Angels, Let's move on to the next team, which is the Baltimore Orioles. They still have Manny Machado, Chris Davis, D. Gordon. Chris Davis did win AL MVP last year, so he's doing really well over there in Baltimore. But let's move on to the next team. It's our division rival, Boston Red Sox, who still have David Price, 94 overall. They have Craig Kimbrell, Mookie Betts, who's really good right now, Xander Bogaerts, Dustin Pedroia, Clay Buchholz. Still most of their team intact. Plus, they have the young player, 82 overall, 22-year-old, a potential Todd DeBow, who for some reason they want to trade, but I have no idea why. But let's go move on to one of the other AL East division rivals, who is the New York Yankees. The Yankees, they're not that great. Their pitching's really good, but other than that, they're not really that great. They do have Aroldis Chapman, Dylan Betances. They have Masaru Tanaka still, Starlin Castro, Luis Severino, Michael Pineda, Jorge Soler, and they do have Prince Fielder on the team. 84 overall, 34-year-old Prince Fielder on the team. Let's go move on to the next team, which is the Tampa Bay Rays. So the Tampa Bay, they have Chris Archer, friend of Marcus Stroman, Archer, 91 overall, 30 years old. And they have Kevin Kiermaier still on the team, 28 years old. Evan Longoria, Corey Dickerson, Jake Odorizzi, still a decent team, but they're not really that competitive in the AL East. But anyway, that is the entire MLB. I didn't think I'd do that, but entire MLB 2019 team overview for MLB. So it's a changed league. Some players left the league, like Edwin Encarnacion and Jose Bautista left, but there's still a great MLB team in the Toronto Blue Jays. So anyway, I guess I'll end this episode off for here. That was a team overview. I did check over every single team in the MLB, just the top stars and a few of their players. So anyway, I guess I'll end this episode off for here. The next episode will be opening day over then Rogers Center between Mad Bum and Sonny Gray. Athletics versus Blue Jays. So I guess I'll end this episode off for here. So make sure to like and subscribe for more Toronto Blue Jays baseball. And thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next